What's up, Zox fam? We're on day 1 of season 1 in the First Descendant, and I'm actually really excited about today because we have a lot to get into. Now, jumping into the very first thing, if you have not logged in yet, make sure you do. We actually have this event that they haven't really talked about that much, but it's a daily task exclusive event that they have currently going on. So basically, when we complete this task, which I think might just be even logging in, I didn't actually do anything. But when you check your mailbox, it'll say Descendants Daily Task Reward Mail, and it'll say Descendants, the event task, Descendant Daily Task. They're going to be giving us, from what it looks like, 2 crystallization blueprints and 2 million gold. Now, this might vary day to day, but this is starting off on day 1. That's actually huge because we have not received anything like this in the mailbox from the team. All we've received so far have been boosts, which again, I'm not mad at boosts. Boosts are good. But so far, this is a huge step in the right direction, giving some of those resources to help out with helping those that might have a little bit more trouble with getting some of these resources, because not everybody's at 700 plus hours like myself. And I don't know if I should be happy or sad about that, but but either way, going to the next thing here, that's one of the main things that you want to make sure you claim as soon as you log in. Next, I want to get into something actually really important, and this is going to be the module sockets. I know you guys have been waiting for this process, and we now have it in the game, so I want to give you guys that visual. Now, just to quickly explain this, obviously you still have your settings 1, 2, and 3. If you've named them, then those will still be there. But what you might notice is different is that we have 2 different tabs now. We have the module tab, is what I'm going to call it, and then we have the socket assignment tab. Now, with the socket assignment tab, this is where all the magic is going to be visible, and where it's actually going to be happening for you to change your sockets to whatever you've already have changed or assigned to your descendant. Now, how this essentially is going to work is that, say for example, we click on this slot right here, right? Now you'll notice that there's only 2 of these that are highlighted. That's because these are 2 socket types that I've done on the character. I will be able to change between the 2. Now, I know some of you guys were under the impression that it was going to be basically you just do it once and then you could just change it infinitely to whichever one you want. No, you still would need to socket it. But I'm going to talk about what are some of the things that they've done to make the process a little bit easier, I guess, because they have been listening. So we'll talk about that in a second. But all in all, very simply put, you're just able to swap between the 2, right? Now, of course, if you go and you socket it again, you can pick another type, and then now you'll see 3 of these highlighted instead of 2, right? For example. Now, one of my pieces of advice too about certain socket types is say, for example, you don't want to socket a slot. If you had it to where it was just a regular generic open slot, you can always revert it back to that, and at least you won't be having to deal with the penalty. So there is still a perk to that, even though you might not be able to infinitely change it as much as you want, which I think, again, is still a very, very good thing, and is still very healthy, because even dealing with the penalty is giving you extra costs instead of, allowing you to have some costs, versus not having it, I guess, right? So that's just basically that. Now, of course, with that, if we go to the module setting, just so you can see, it'll show you all the same things. You'll just be able to see what exactly you already have done, which is actually a little bit better than the previous way, because I know sometimes I would have to double back and actually check to see, what do I have in the slot? What am I trying to change it to? All that jazz. But now it just shows you, so you can just, efficiently and seamlessly change them, right? So of course you click on them, you click the one that you want, and there you go. Okay. So very, very simple, nothing too crazy, but this is going to be opening us up to be able to diversify our builds a little bit easier. Is it the perfect alternative? I would say personally, it's what we got currently amongst many of other changes. Could they still refine it potentially in the future? I wouldn't mind it. I honestly, genuinely wouldn't mind it if they did something else to it. But I think for right now, we got to work what we got, give whatever feedback we can, and go from there. Now, of course, with this change, this wasn't the only thing that they decided to do. They also decided to change some of the EXP values for the farming. Like I mentioned before, that was one of the things that they were trying to consider when we were talking about how they are trying to make sure we experience and feel in the game, especially with a process of grinding. I think one of the hardest things is that, we have to be grinding in a looter game. That's kind of the whole point. But you also don't want the things of what the person is grinding to be so repetitive that they become bored, right? Now, of course, if we go to the Twitter page here, now I want to talk about a couple of different things here. So they did an XP change. So they increased the XP reward for completing hard infiltration operations and also increased XP for defeating monsters by 1.5 times. You can now acquire rare basic materials as a reward for completing hard infiltration operations. They increased XP for defeating monsters in normal infiltration operations by 1.5 times. And then they more than doubled the amount of shards that could be picked up in special operations. Now, of course, with this too, they also go to say that they acquiring additional Descendant XP when completing waves and special operations. Now, jumping straight down to something that the developers have mentioned, which is we've made adjustments to special operations so there's improved efficiency when farming XP. While we recognize many players enjoy leveling through sterile land mine blocking, we still believe it's not as rewarding as the other XP farms that require a simpler play, such as void fragments. As a result, in this update, we've added XP when clearing waves in special operations. The fastest mine blockade will now give you 1.5 times more XP than before, while the resource defense and neutralized experiment will give you 2 times more XP. We hope this will help players level up more efficiently across various special operations. Now, the important thing about this is that they're giving us more EXP yield in these, so we still have to check and see. Obviously, this is day 1, so we'll probably know by day 2 and day 3 how this EXP grind feels. So that is something that I will say that we'll have to revisit, but at least we see them trying to shift those values so that at least if they're going to have us doing it, we're doing it in a much more efficient manner. So that, of course, is that. Now, of course, we can't forget about not only the free-to-play, but also the spenders, right? So I really quickly want to go over some of the things for the Battle Pass, especially for those of you guys that are going to be playing free-to-play. Again, the Battle Pass does have some pretty interesting things here. If we look at the Battle Supply Shop, so throughout the season, you'll be able to acquire some additional skins for Valby and for Bunny, right? So page 2 is going to be for Bunny, and then page 1 is going to be for Valby. They get different helmets, they get different skins, which is pretty sick. And of course, you can obviously go and use your paints on that. And then of course, they have some weapon skins and new emotes that we can also get from this as well. Now, of course, on the Battle Pass, another thing that I want to mention for those of you guys that are free to play, the Battle Pass at level 16 is going to be giving you your first copy of Excava. I think at level 64 is going to be the next copy, I think. Or sorry, 40. There we go. Yeah, it's 40. Then you get another copy at 64. So in total, you get 3 copies, which is basically the base and then 2 dupes, which is pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty nice, right? So it's obviously the same as last season, so they're continuing that tradition, which is great. But again, getting the new, or at least one of the new ultimates this way just means that you're just going to have to do your dailies and progress throughout the game. Now, they do have some different dailies as well to make things a little bit easier. You can see that these are much, much, much lighter. Defeat enemies with an assault rifle, 80. Diligent Descendant, which is clear 4 missions. Clear a mission on hard difficulty 3. Acquire Reptun, which is 270. I think like last season, it was like crazy astronomical numbers that you had to do. And then, of course, you know, getting these done, you also have your weekly challenges, which seem pretty respectable. Like it says complete Ironheart Particle Collection quests, 10. So just playing the game for the most part, you'll probably get most of these done. But they do have these things accessible, again, for you guys, especially if you are free to play. If you're not going to be free to play and you are buying the Battle Pass, then you get even more. Now, the last thing, of course, I want to touch on, we got to talk about the skins, man, because I will say, as much as people might be trying to claim that people don't buy these skins in these games, they absolutely do. Now, the cool thing is that what we actually got, so let's go to the event skin here. We actually got a new, which I wasn't aware of. I didn't see them say anything about it, but we actually have a new Evolvsion skin for Ajax. It's the Mark Dominator 02 set. It looks sick. I'm not gonna lie. It looks pretty sick. So this is what he ends up looking like at the final evolution. Dude, They gave him a straight gun. I literally said this. I was like, dude, give him a Gundam outfit. And they gave him a Gundam outfit. So yeah, we're eating pretty good. If this is something that you're interested in, of course, this is just a cosmetic. So this is something that you don't have to get, right? Like this is just purely because you enjoy the character or you like the way it looks. And so what I'm hoping is that we get more of this as we get, into next seasons and things of that nature. You will have obviously 100 days to do this, which is a good amount of time. But that's not all, dude. They got some crazy skins. The Twisted Worship set, like, what? Okay. Like, dude, they going crazy. They even have done a new set type, which I think is actually a pretty cool idea. It's the Colossus sets, which basically they mirrored some of the Colossus that we fought in the game. So this is the Colossus Dead Bride, which is like, this is fire. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, and I kind of felt like some of the Colossuses look like Descendants, like they could be Descendants, and I was like, yo, I did not think they were gonna give us the outfits for them. So then, I'm not gonna lie, the Executioner one just looks funny to me, but they got the Executioner one as well. So this is really sick because this means that we could possibly be seeing some, more of these, and hopefully for some of the, Void Intercept bosses that they do, we'll be able to actually get some more skins catered to that. I'm not gonna lie, this game could absolutely make a killing just off the skins. You don't have to over monetize this game. Skins are going to be where it's at. I think the crystallization system and like people being able to expedite that is also pretty cool too. But man, yeah, these new skins, pretty tough. We obviously still got some of the older ones, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys some of the things that we have updated in the game. Now, of course, with that, there is some more stuff that we have to talk about that's not as at face value, or we have to get through the rest of the season to get to it. So I will be showing and having separate videos for that, but I just wanted to jump in as soon as we logged in, see what we had accessible and what was visible. Again, guys, let me know how you guys are feeling. Are you hyped for season 1? How are you feeling? Again, I will probably be streaming at some point, probably day 2 or 3. I just like to get some grinding stuff done and some videos done for you guys. But outside of that, guys, everyone stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.